Now, of the 30 million people we have in this country, well, about 2.9 million of them are related to the fishing industry. Yes, it feeds us, gives us animal protein and the likes, but the industry has some challenges in recent times. People have been complaining about the depletion of our fish stock. Yes, in Ghana's water, some have blamed the Chinese, some have blamed the increasing number of vessels. Now, in response to this, well, governments implemented two close seasons, one from the middle of May to the end of June for canoe, people using canoes, and one for industrial fishing vessels. Now, that ended in September. That's from August to September. So on today's edition of the City Newsroom, we want to find out what has been the impact of the closure of the fishing seasons. My name is Bobios. I will be speaking to a lot of people to get an understanding. Was it a good thing? Should we continue with the closed seasons? And many more. You're watching the City Newsroom on City TV. Close seasons impacted all sorts of fishermen, those who have been fishing for maybe a few years and those who have been fishing for over 40 years, like my uncle here. Close season I implemented. Let's say America, yeah, you know, from August to September. Impact Kuba. Ehanyalo.
Ovane. Yaga kwe achi amena. No de oni nko na ga. If aga be me ni wo tutu man ye nyero nje Mr. Roris yo no. Na ga trolling visits ne Roris team ni na aga se kaja me heleke ba shipon. Fit low no a ham package so hair no cutting na make a bashipon. No kaja make below and well bashipon you watch a or neck do. No one knew what you are me. Be a chill trolling visits ne and mammy family. I'm back blood round we have a son name. I make below watching can even you of a third Jenny Lawyer touch and tell me a trolley pumote. No lawyer I'm a better you could do. No akame who kakame who na me ya agbenu ni je no ni yu ye nege wo na ni gage na chinsho na eyin eji wo dwemo ka oni leji na chinsho na ka wula ka ya wu nege kane na so ne aba stop se bia ne kane ebo so ebo mi ewa bo mfe tutu no bia ne lo ekodomo shi na don.
Essentially, during the era of the former president Rawlings, he regulated the trawlers, and such that the manner in which they went about their fishing was not that counterproductive to the artisanal fishermen. They were still able to go out there to see. They managed to make some catches and then go about their living. But these days that is not the case, as there is no regulation and they've been released to more or less fish anyhow they want. They fish so close to the rocks at the bottom of the sea, which prevents some of the small fishes to more or less hide or wherever. Fishes that they would have been able to get. So essentially, due to the recent operations of the industrial trawlers, they are unable to get as much fish as they would like. And also the second point is making is that even with the closed season, people are still using light fishing. People are still implementing using light in fishing, which does not augur well when it comes to or catching fish for what's it called, the artisanal fishermen. So you find thousands of canoes here that are fishing harbor with different inscriptions. Some saying what Sanikpakpa, which means fine case. The one I'm working on has an inscription that says which means that God knows why he did it. I'm going to speak to a gentleman who is vehemently against the closed season. We want to find out why and how life is as a fisherman in the current system we are in. Nice, thanks for having us. So close season eh? Yanibuta te tonal
close season any bar. If you're a wame, a wame, a jagger, wonye me chana bi ye o force ake ka cruise season ne ke wo ka me fa cruise ekome ben africa lo en ba de nye ba shi ke across wo na agbele ame amanya ma sa lo na beni sani lo anya ba enye ba na kan
Okay.
wo eji na agba ke awa ke wo be kan cruise e ba cruise wo ka me fa ekome keke shishi no mo e ba ye won shoana.
Okay. Well, I mean, just to summarize what he said, essentially, he's saying that, I mean, the close season helped some people and did not help some people. One key issue that he has is the fact that, I mean, the artisanal fishermen have one close season, and the Chinese fishermen, which I'm sure he's referring to the industrial fishermen, also have another season, and they take advantage of our close season or their close season, and more or less fish in a manner that does not help them. So if that can be corrected, such that artisanal fishermen, industrial fishermen all have one close season. All right, so there you have it. A fisherman here at the Tema Fishing Harbour. I mean, giving us his assessment of the two close seasons. I mean, he would love for us to have one close season for both artisanal, that's the canoe fishermen, and the industrial fishermen. My name is Bubi Osei, reporting to you live from the Tema Fishing Harbour. For now, we'll join my colleague Eugenia Tenkra, who's staying on this particular subject and speaking to someone from the Fisheries Commission.
It had been our expectation that we're going to achieve about 70-80% compliance. But through the efforts of all of us, I must say we achieved about 99-100% compliance. We had pockets, very insignificant number of people who were even doing beach combing, just doing the angling, which wasn't of significant importance to us. The whole program was concerned. So I must say that we achieved 100% compliance. As to the benefits, as we intimated prior to the institution of the program, we said that it's a short-term, medium-term, and long-term program. We are all witnesses. When we opened the season, the fishers themselves came out with report of bumper harvest. What they are looking at as bumper harvest in our own scheme of things may not be bumper harvest.
But that might not also be true in all cases, because City Newsroom carried a story which said Fisherfolk at Jamestown in Accra in the greater Accra region are blaming their reduced harvest on the closed season. So they were complaining that they were catching plastic instead of fish.
Yeah, I remember when that issue came up, in my rebuttal, I said that no artisanal fisher will embark on a fishing expedition, waste man hours, spend fuel, and when he casts the net and then he hauls plastic, we put it in a vessel and bring it ashore and say that I hauled. No one will do that. So at least that story, that information lacked some.
But he might not come back with plastic, but he won't have enough fish like he was expecting to.
Yeah.
So I've been joined by an elder of the Tema Fishing Harbour who happens to, knows the ins and outs of this particular close season and also the impact. He believes that it has more or less improved their fish stock. If you can kindly join me here. Hi. Welcome to the City Newsroom.
Welcome. My name is Jacob Odamete.
Okay.
You are welcome to the Tema Beach area.
Thank you so much, sir. I mean, I see there's a lot of activity in the background. Now, over the past, say, 10 months, we've had two close seasons. I mean, one from the mid of May to end of June for the artisanal fishermen, that's those who use the canoe, and then from August to September for industrial trawlers. What has been the impact and what has been your assessment of the close seasons?
Okay, well, thank you. During the close season, by then we don't get fish. We don't get before the close season happen. Later on, we find that there's a lot of fish in the lagoon, coming to the lagoon. So after they open the close season, we find out there's a fish coming abundantly. If you ask us yesterday, the fish that they get, we sell about a crate of fish 20 Ghana, or even some people sell 25 Ghana. Okay. Which it comes down. Sorry today that they didn't get much. But for the past about 2 weeks ago, we have been getting fish.
Okay, so which, in your opinion, the close season has worked?
It has worked a lot. So now, what else? They have opened to the industrial one. We are watching whether there will be a changes between the industrial one and the artisan one.
Okay.
So if there's a changes there, if the next time we know how we talk to the government so that he arrange everything so that it will never affect anybody.
All right, Mr. Odamete, thank you so much for speaking to us. All right, so there you have it, right here at the Tema Fishing Harbour. My name is Bobie Osei for the City Newsroom. So I have it with me cassava fish, and my lovely mother here is selling it right here at the Tema Fishing Harbour. Now, if there's a group of people who can determine or tell us the impact of the closed and open season, it will be the fishmongers. I mean, is it that with the opening of the fishing season, I mean, are prices down? I mean, what can they tell us? So I'm going to join a few of my aunties here to speak to. Hi, ma.
Dromo.
All right. And you find out me want to be one like lopi. Is it because of season allo?
Oh, it's on a biane. Not to China bianane, and a low few. I've been a son, you quit low. Cut on in again. I only 90. I look at 1 million, blame my scan. Sibian and Loeba, I only 45. Echo me crop, I only 25. I hear get 30. Sibian, petrol benaka, woe, and now petrol will come by Wolena, mehe. You walk the man near my head, no need draft way, kaya woe. I learn all me come on mehemas. Then I'm back for no fear hammy. Skip the drum back. Na here. Well, I think Banaka Lodge Lebas. See Petra Banaka, more Petra, Conuolana Benamea, Coniluapa. No way you can wait, your per mammy, Joe. I can one low and walk a 20 a beer. Sikaba, one way or Piawoji. See low Ben, no 1 year school fees what year away, 1 year squat away. No, I accept Petrano. Couldn't no fair number and 1 year away or be at school.
All right, so essentially what she's saying is that with the close season for the industrial trawlers, I mean, there's been some very positive impact as they've seen the arrival of more fishes, which has led to a reduction in prices. I mean, this particular carton, I mean, would have filled with fish would have gone for around 90 or 100 Ghana cedis in the past, but now it's going for as low as 35 Ghana cedis or even less. Wow! But then, I mean, she chipped in the fact that, I mean, the issue of fuel, petrol. If they can get more petrol, then more fishermen can go out there. They can bring more fish. Prices will go down. She'll be able to get money to pay for the school fees of kids. Well, so in years past, some stakeholders say that we used to catch close to 400,000 metric tons in terms of fish. That has depleted to around 200,000 or even below. And for the artisanal fishermen, one key suspect would be the industrial trawlers. But they also, I mean, have had their own close season for 2 months, from August to September. And it's also impacted them. So we're coming to speak to a representative for the association. Senior, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm great, sir. So the close season for industrial trawlers ended, in September. Can you tell us about the impact, I mean, on your line of business, sir?
Yeah, I think let me give you a brief background to close season. Yeah. Close season for the trawl sectors date back to 2016. And since 2016, the trawlers or industrial trawlers have been having close season. So this year close season is not new. What is unique about this year close season for the industrial trawlers, it fits right into the periods that the scientists have come out to say that it's best for close season, and that is the period that we are going to have maximum impact when it comes to rebuilding of our stocks. So when we talk about impact in terms of rebuilding of stock, then I would say that the August-September close season for the industrial trawlers is something that is a novel, it's unique. and it tied directly into science-based close season. And for me, it is good for the country. However, because close season means that some people must not work for some period, it has also negative impact on the industrial trawlers whose livelihood depend on fishing. Remember that each fishing vessel also have sailors, and the sailors depend on going to fishing to get money, and they use the money to feed their family. So you can see, and you know, some of the fishing companies, the sailors are their employees. So whether they go to work or they don't go to work, they must find their money. You have to pay them. You cannot say because they are not going to work, so you are not paying. You pay other statutory commitment or statutory money like your state and other things. You have to pay to government. So you can see it's a burden on them. And beyond that, as the vessels are not going, and for some of you, the journalists who were privileged, when we went with you to Anchorage, you saw the vessels at Anchorage. And at that time, you still have to fuel the vessel for the vessel to stay afloat, and you are spending money. So it's a lot of money that people spent, but they were not working. So it's an impact. And of course, anytime the vessels also come into port, the fisherable port, and they berth, they also pay some monies to the port authorities. And these are revenue to the state. So if they are not working, they are not coming. Of course, government is also losing revenue. So its impact is enormous when it comes to individual fishing companies or the trawlers. However, because of the benefit, the long-term benefits that the country and then the association members stand to gain, they are all committed in ensuring that we have a successful close season. And that is what we had.
You are watching the City Newsroom. We are crossing over to Frima Edunyame, who has more on the story of the Techi desalination plant.